Alright, I'm going live.
You going live?
Yeah. We come for you.
Let me see why I'm with this. Ooh! It's alive. Okay, let me get this live music off. They don't know. They don't know.
What's going on?
Hi! Oh my god! The livers are coming.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready to start, guys.
Okay.
Starting in about 30 seconds. Just a little background music.
Background music is about to be dead right now.
Done.
Because my iPhone X is not wanting me to play music and go live at the same time. Oh my god. Because you know, something's different about my setup. I think,
What's going on, y'all?
Okay, we're live! Hi guys! It's me, your girl Antoinette, that bitch, and my couch. I'm here with Brandon. It's Brandon time, and we got shit to say.
Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about.
Let's talk about it. So, first things first, we're going to talk about a little hot topic that came out today. How do we say this guy's name?
Jacquees, I believe it is. That's his name, I think.
Jacquees.
Jacquees.
Okay.
Yes.
So our guy, Jacquees.
Yes.
Came out. I think it was today.
Today. Yes. Today.
Jacquees came out today stating that he is the king of R&B of the generation.
Okay, of this generation. Needless to say, he got flamed.
By everyone.
Everybody.
Anyone who
the
is
board.
anyone came for his whole entire head.
It was, well, just for you guys to know real quick, I don't even know if Jacquees has any real music that is actually his. He has a terrible cover of Chris Brown's Yo.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also has, the remix to Trippin'? By LMA, which I think she had pulled from everything. Because he didn't even write her song, or any songs. He just trying to steal other people's swag.
She pulled that shit.
Well, I'm just glad.
I thought that it was hilarious. I mean, I don't really know much about him. Does he have the dreads? Is he the one with the dreads?
I think he has dreads. Yeah, he does have dreads. I believe.
I mean, I think that it's totally 100% fine to be into yourself. Because I'm very into myself.
You gotta be your biggest cheerleader. You know what I mean?
Yourself. But I think that to throw out labels like that, I can't really say how many albums or anything he's really had. I don't know.
Anything that actually really sound good.
I just think that it's aggressive and it's not cool.
It's funny. It's wild. I just really like a lot of people's responses. I thought Tank was hilarious.
Tank was my favorite.
Right?
Tank was my fave.
I didn't get to pull it up, but Bobby Valentino, although he might just try to be secure in his bag, right?
What happened?
Well, he basically said that everybody, instead of it being like, who's the king, we should just all go on tour and let's get this bread and let's just, sing up on stage and sing with the best.
Who's trying to secure his bag?
That just, you know what I mean? I was like, honestly, that makes sense. I just thought it was important to talk about it because it was insane. It was just some ridiculous, absurd statement to make, and what a strange level of confidence to have in yourself. Although you should love yourself and have confidence in yourself, living your truth.
Yes. Yes. I just want to say shout out to this iPhone XR for shining Brandon's beauty on such levels. Look at
the glow.
Look at what it does to you.
I was gonna have to be the upgrade because my face is matte splotched on this. My face is
weird stuff to me. I feel like I'm better with the iOS Sierra system.
Nah, the XR it balances.
That XR it doesn't do, but it makes you so beautiful. Look at you. I feel like a proud mom.
Oh, ridiculous.
Come here.
Ridiculous.
Okay. So, are you guys ready to dive in?
Ooh, to the real part of the live.
Jacquees, the non-king, it's over for him now, and we're ready to talk about
some
problematic
feminism, some problematic white feminism, some problematic white feminism, white feminists,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah. All right, so let's start it right where the fuck we need to start it from. We recorded a video last night. We posted it up this morning, last night. Hope you guys watched it. It will help aid in the conversation. If you didn't, you can follow it up later and just pay the fuck attention now. So Lena Dunham.
So we went over all of the things about Lena Dunham in the video, but just a quick synopsis.
Lena Dunham, if you don't know, most notably from Girls.
Girls, star, creator, producer, writer, all that good stuff. And like described by many outlets as a feminist for quite some time.
Okay.
As an actual representation of modern day feminism. She recently, well not recently, last year, she said that a woman who,
Ready for that.
Okay, so
She's
she said
always
that
there for it.
Aurora Perrineau, daughter of Howard Perrineau, we went through all of this, she accused one of the writers from her series, Murray Miller, of raping her. She and one of her co-stars basically said she was lying, said it wasn't true, and very recently, a year later, has come to admit that what she said was a lie. She had no idea what she was talking about, and then she once again very quickly played the victim.
Yeah.
So Lena, right? It's a problem, and women like Lena are problematic. So we're having this conversation because we want to give you the other side of the conversation. Last night we very briefly mentioned Emma Watson. But I don't know if any of you got the time to see it.
Yes. But I think that, I don't really want to like blow over it, like the magnitude of what it was that this woman has done. I think, yes, we want to talk about the umbrella over white feminism, what modern day feminism is looking like now, but I think that, fully going into detail as it pertains to Lena Dunham's toxicity.
Okay.
And just briefly, I think to call yourself a feminist, because we'll break it all down throughout the episode, but just on a basic level, you believe, you stand for women.
Yes.
And you believe that, women are equal to men and they should have the same as that, right? So Lena Dunham publicly coming out saying that she had information to negate the claims of someone being raped, a 17-year-old minor, and then lying. So she lied, but then now coming out and saying that it was all a lie.
Long history of toxic behavior, toxic statements, right?
I was like a personal because she's a young black girl.
Well, absolutely. But also let's talk about, wishing she had an abortion, all the things that we mentioned in the video. But the issue is that can you continue to call yourself a feminist, and should you be allowed to have this platform if you don't back it up with actual behaviors or actually evolve?
Should you be allowed to? Okay, so we're gonna punish people or make examples of people. Everyone across the board has to be able to get it. Okay, so Megyn Kelly, problematic. She got 86, regardless of her check or not. She is no longer having a show on a major network. Roseanne Barr, she is gone. 86, right? So this, to me, I feel like besides not saying there's anything to get, to minimize blackface and whatever it was that Roseanne Barr did, but I think that
say that Valerie Jarrett looked like somebody from Planet of the Apes.
Oh yes, the monkey thing. This I think is a little bit more serious.
Well, it's you can't continuously make these statements and not be held accountable for them, especially when you're supposed to be a lead voice in this modern day movement. You know what I mean? There are a bunch of young white women who are looking up to Lena Dunham and going, you represent me. You represent my idea of feminism. But is this really what feminism should be? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that just goes to another problem that people are looking up to people that they shouldn't be looking up to, period, point blank, just because they are a celebrity, just because they identify, doesn't mean that you're supposed to follow very sheeply and just like.
I agree with that, but
Feminism says lies about rape. Now I'll say lies.
But
about
but
rape.
it's not just that. It's just that when you're in this place of power, there's a level of responsibility, and you have to once again be held accountable. We talked about it. We talked about Kanye West. When you do these things, when you say these things that are dangerous and volatile, you have to be held accountable for them. And Lena Dunham doesn't get held accountable. She keeps getting these platforms, and yes, she brought up Brittany Perino and Aurora Perino. Brittany Perino is Aurora's mother on stage, and they say they forgave her and all of that good stuff. But I don't want to forgive her. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want her.
Who did what?
You didn't.
I saw that in the article.
You read that article,
I did, but I'm upset because I think that there's something so powerful in them not having been a part of that show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, bitch, actually, fuck you, wholly and entirely. Like, go get help, get your life together, keep me, my mom, my family's name out your mouth.
I mean,
straight up.
But they were, they're doing the like, we're being nice, we're gonna care, like, we forgive you. I think we need to hold her accountable. I think we need to hold other women like her accountable and at least be able to evolve. I want to talk about someone like Taylor Swift, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm some massive Taylor Swift fan because I'm not a Taylor Swift fan.
What's a Taylor Swift mean?
When she recently came out, a person, I believe, was running for Congress earlier this year, or senator, one of those things. He was super, he was like homophobic and all of this stuff. And what's the statement? She was part of the 3% that falsely accused men of inappropriate behavior. Look at what she said about Odell Beckham Jr. Exactly. To talk about Lena Dunham, exactly. Objectifying black bodies and black men, and mad that they won't look at her body. She is a problem, and she just keeps getting platforms. People just keep allowing her to speak. I completely lost my train of thought before that, though.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, Taylor Swift. She used her voice to stand up for a community that represents her. You know what I mean? Evolve, grow. It doesn't make her perfect.
Who's her? What's her community?
Gay men, the LGBTQ community who are a massive part of her fan base.
Her fan base.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I mean, I'm not saying she just did it, for shits and giggles, like for the continued numbers, but you have to evolve at some point. Lena refuses to evolve.
Oh, recap. What are we talking about? Hi. We're talking about.
Quick recap, guys. Quick recap.
Give it a quick recap.
So, okay. So we're talking about white feminism, right? We just finished. We're still talking about Lena Dunham and the problematic statement where she said that Aurora Perino lied about being raped by one of her producers, and just sort of the long history that she has of being problematic and how she kind of sort of has been a representation of modern feminism and continuously gets platforms. So that's not what we're talking about right now, just a quick synopsis.
Yeah. I think that, I'm not sure what you're trying to say about Taylor Swift, though.
Well, what I'm saying is that you have to evolve. You can't continuously, in Taylor Swift's case, be silent when you have a voice to make change, right? And in Lena Dunham's case, to evolve and stop saying ignorant, stupid bullshit.
But honestly, I think that she is evolving.
Who?
Lena Dunham.
Really?
Like, in her own very slow way.
Okay. So you think that her privilege is so ingrained in her that this is her learning curve. This is her learning process.
I mean, what about her privilege exactly?
Oh, you heard me. Her white privilege.
Okay, what about?
Yeah. Like that's the curve that she's learning from. She's coming from such a high level of privilege.
Yep.
But this is the thing. That's great if that's your curve. That's great if that's what you're doing. I don't want to be a part of it, and I don't want to give it that time.
The fact that she actually publicly acknowledged that she lied, I think. I'm not saying it's anything for me. I'm a different type of.
You lied.
But
you had a feeling you were lying.
The fact that she even openly came out and retracted and tried to make right and apologize, I think that's a part of growth, no?
Yeah, but do more growth in private. Grow up somewhere, learn more. Don't just keep coming out of your mouth. Stop giving her platforms. Why are all these magazines and blogs allowing her to say all of this reckless stuff and to be a representation of what you define feminism as? Okay. That's scary.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you keep giving her this platform, it means to some degree you agree with what she's saying. You don't believe in intersectional feminism. Either you don't believe in it or you don't understand the concept of it.
Okay. All right. I want to segue this into Ellen Pompeo, though.
I think
Because
Ellen Pompeo is a great person to talk about.
Brandon's girl.
I'm a fan, by the way.
Because controversy sells. For sure. But what's gonna be the controversy when her ass is fucking dead from a fucking drug overdose? Because that's really what's underlying all these psychotic outbursts.
Yeah, the addiction.
And then that controversy will then sell. Because she'll be fucking dead.
Oh, that's dark. That's dark. Okay.
Sometimes it be dark like that.
But let's talk about Ellen, right?
Okay, Ellen Pompeo.
Okay, so
let's lighten it up
okay.
with your favorite.
So
I was gonna really be aggressive.
Okay, that's not being aggressive.
I was like, with your favorite like snowflake.
My favorite.
Your
okay.
favorite snowflake.
Okay, let's do it. So this is what I'll say, right?
Okay.
What do you?
Okay, first of all,
okay.
Who saw Red Table Talk today with Ellen Pompeo? And they basically, I thought. Because I feel like Ellen Pompeo is somewhat of a feminist, right? As it pertains to her fights in the industry for women. And so I thought the interview would be more about that, but it turned out to be more a little bit about interracial relationships and her support of the Black community and basically where that comes from. So Red Table Talk, watch that.
Which is very good.
Let's talk about it though.
So Ellen Pompeo has notoriously, she's been in the media a couple years back for making statements. She used the Black Power fist. She also used the term reverse racism, right? And she got hung up to dry for that, right?
Well, because then she used the black fit. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just got over wanting to watch you guys first. Thank you. Love you. She got caught up in the reverse racism because of something special that A&E was putting out revolving around the KKK, and she fought out against them putting that out, and she won in her fight to stop them from putting this out. And
it wasn't just her, by the way. There were multiple outlets that were trying to prevent them from airing it because it was sensationalizing the KKK, right? So it basically was propaganda for white nationalists.
Yeah.
That's that's what it really was.
So basically, she put out a tweet. Yes, won, victory ended. Black fist. So yeah, and then she got hung out to dry for that.
So most recently.
Talk about this because I'm like, I'm so hyped up over your feelings about.
Okay, I love it. I actually really enjoy Ellen Pompeo, right? Okay. Because Ellen Pompeo refuses to be held down by the fact that people have a problem with her standing in the corner of Black people, right? She's damned if she does, she's damned if she doesn't, okay? She's married to a Black man, right? She's got 3 little brown kids, 3 interracial kids, right? She has a family that is mixed, right? So whenever there's an issue that comes up that is about the Black culture or Black representation, that is also her fight, because her child is also Black. Her children are Black, and she actively talks about it. And I love the live, right? Because I love the fact that instead of having this fetish for Black culture and Black people, she's saying all of the things that are true and all of the things that are already said about white people that are said on a regular basis, but instead she was saying them about Black people. I didn't feel like I was watching somebody who was harping on the idea of oh, I just love Black culture so much because I want to be Black and in my head I'm Black.
Well, but she didn't say that, but I felt like her telling her whole story about like when I was younger and I just like loved, all my friends was Black and I wanted to bring the Black kids over to my house, so my dad could like see like all these Black boys in the. I felt like that was some kind of deep rooted.
I mean, but see, there's a difference between what your fetish is and what you're surrounded by.
Oh, okay, sure.
You know what I mean? Like like those are different
So
statements.
how do you differentiate? Like, how do you separate the fact that this is her course of action?
Mm-hmm.
This is how she felt. I always just felt close to black people. This is what I feel, and I wanted to do these, and I took these actions, and
I don't think she. She didn't necessarily say that
had these thoughts.
She said that she had black friends, right? And her dad liked
I've
to feel
always
like
had black friends,
which is a fair statement to say, because if that's your experience, if from childhood you've had friends that were black, that's a truth, is it not?
Okay.
You
But
understand?
she also goes on to talk about the compassion that she has, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because having experienced, her mother dying from a young age, and that compassion is what basically helps her be in these circles, identify closely with black people.
But I think she talks about connecting with people in general when talking about compassion, because she says compassion is how we connect with people. Okay, and she's saying that from that trauma, right? That taught her how to be more compassionate. She didn't say that because her mother died, she now understood the black experience.
No, but I felt like it opened her up more to that and wanted to better understand. And I think that whereas she's in it now, she has a whole biracial husband and biracial children, but I think that I don't really feel like I don't know. It just makes me feel uncomfortable a little bit.
But why?
I just feel like I can't really see her true intentions of wanting to be, and her story about the black friends and it did not warm.
She was in high school. People in high school do things that they're not proud of. They think about things in ways that they're not proud of. You're gonna tell me, wait, you're not gonna tell me you didn't do things in high school that you look back at and think like, ooh, my motives for doing that probably were not the best. Okay. My reasoning for doing that was not the best.
But now I'm here, this is my mindset, so I'm going to keep going with that.
Do you feel like that's what she's doing? Because I feel like Ellen Pompey is a person, right, who for 15 years has been on Grey's Anatomy, right? She's worked under the showrunner, Shonda Rhimes, right, who has pretty much put ABC at the top of the television game. You know what I mean? She's watched all of her struggles. Her husband is biracial. Her kids are kids of color, right? And the thing that I like about her is that she doesn't invalidate any of your feelings about this, right?
But also something that she was saying was like, if black people want to be mad at me for anything I do, you can have that. You can have a pass.
That's not what she didn't say.
I was like,
she didn't say, oh, you can have a pass. She was like, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Said twice, if not 3 times, you get that pass.
You get that pass, not because I'm giving it to you, not because me and my whiteness is giving you that pass, but because the reality is that you and your blackness get that pass. We have that conversation all the time. We have conversations in black communities where we talk about things that we get a pass for. You understand what I'm saying? We get to say...
Who gets a pass for?
That black people get a pass. We get to say when we're in groups of people that I'm black, I don't want you to say the N-word in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
We get to do that because that's the reality. It doesn't really matter how you feel about the person. The reality of it is we get to make that decision. And the history presents itself so that she's right. She doesn't, her opinion, right, and the structure to help us, it doesn't matter what we say to her. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can be as angry and upset as you want to be. That feeling that you have, not only do you get the pass, you have the right to do that. Not because I'm allocating it to you, but because that's just the only way to break the system is to just accept it. Accept it as a fact of life.
Say that one more time.
The only way to break this system is to accept that as a fact of life. Because
accept what?
That black people get passes on certain things. That you want to not like me using the black power fist, that's your right. That's not your right as an individual. That's your right as a black person who feels ownership of the culture and what that represents. I am not white. If I do that, you can't stop me from doing it.
I'm not black, but she's white.
Yes. Thank you. She's not white. You know what I mean?
She's not black.
She is not black.
She is not black. So,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Overall, we already know where I stand with a lot of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. The Red Table Talk did not necessarily endear me more to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow her career. I don't really know much about her, but I think that she articulated her feelings very, very well.
Okay.
That's what I will say about her.
Okay, but that's not a very genuine. Like, tell me how you feel about her, other than you like the way she articulated her response.
That's all I've got for that. Like I don't necessarily. For me, like I can't dive into. For me to have a feeling about it, I have to want to care about what her motives are. Like, is it just love? Her telling the story to me about her connection with black people and how she liked to surround herself with black people for some sort of identity or identifying or feeling close with it didn't like.
So this is my problem, right? So if somebody does something, right, that helps to progress a specific movement, preferably like the movement that we're in right now in Black culture, where we're looking for even more equality, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to just continuously, throw away what other people do and the benefits that
I didn't
they
throw
have?
anything away she did. I did not throw anything that she did. Well, the benefits? What benefits? What are you saying?
She is a representation. She is somebody who is a white voice who is able to change other white people's perspectives. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, okay, so what she was talking about in the Red Table Talk was about she has a lot of white friends who don't know any black people, don't have black people in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they should get black people in their lives.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that. If you don't fuck with black people, you don't have to fuck with black people.
I don't think anybody should be so caught up in their life that they have that mindset. I think that to sit in the space.
We gravitate.
I would say to you in saying that you're just saying in a sense to just let racism breed. Like,
let it breathe, let it have space, let it bloom.
We gravitate towards.
If they don't know black people, they won't know all the different facets of who black people are.
But they've experienced black people.
No, but just know that your experience with one or two individual people is not an accurate representation of an entire race of people. Listen, if you go up in Wisconsin and then you go to Sacramento, okay, and you're or like in the hood of somewhere, South Central LA, right, and you have an experience with a Hispanic or a black person, right, that's going to shape your view of those people. If that's your only experience, you gotta realize that people go their entire lives living in small towns, maybe seeing a black person, maybe seeing a Mexican person.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. So if one instance, one experience can shape your entire perspective, whether you want it to or not, because that's your experience, and that's what you do. You internalize something, and then all of a sudden, it's how you outwardly express it.
Yes. Okay.
So it's a part of diversifying it, and I think in the realm of the conversation, the Red Table Talk, I think it was more important to focus on black and white. I don't think she was just referencing having black friends. I think she has multiple friends of multiple ethnicities.
No, my thing was just about what she was saying as it pertained to on a basic level, right? On a basic level, like these people need to be experienced with other different meet people. And understand.
You need to meet people. You need to
like I said to you
people.
already a minute ago, okay? We gravitate towards like-minded people. Like, if there's no fucking like-minded people in your circle and you don't know any black people, if you don't want to, if that's what it is, like, that's your own prerogative. Like,
I mean, but we're not talking about you having your own personal decision and sitting in your hate. But that's not the conversation. She's not having the conversation of let's sit in our hate. She's talking about let's elevating ourselves. Let's move past hate.
Want to have hate ingrained in you, all these biases and feelings.
Not necessarily. Go deeper. Give us more, girl. Give us more.
If that's what you actually want to do and feel based off of nothing, right? We're very progressive as a nation. I feel like
I disagree with that.
Really?
I disagree.
Listen. All the forums are out there. Everything is out there for our knowledge.
That's great. That's great. But being progressive is more than just saying you have technology at your fingertips. We are very archaic in many ways. There's a lot of parts of the country that still live in some crazy ass backwards ways. So we have a northeast, we have a coast luxury, okay, where we live in a very advanced, different thinking world. Everybody in the country doesn't think the way that we do.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna read some of this.
Huh?
Or live the way we live.
Facts. Okay. Antoinette, I love you, and I love you even more because you are black. I'll never understand your struggle as a black woman, but as a person, I realize your challenges. But am I wrong for loving you more because you are black? I mean, I would like you two to answer that, please. Is
that
it
question
wrong?
was to you. That's your friend.
But I'm just saying, I mean, is it wrong for her to be saying that she's loving me more because I'm
what
black?
that friend just told me is that, and what I just heard was that had she not known you, she'd never understand your experience as a black woman. That's what your friend just said to me.
That's
and beyond that, I look at your experience and I look at your story and I hear what people say about you as a black woman, and I see past that. I see who you are as a person and what you represent. I think it's more than just a fetishy idea of.
But I'm not saying that anyone who loves a black person has a fetish for black people. That's not how that works. That's literally not how that idea works. I'm talking specifically about Ellen Pompeo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what she said on the Red Table Talk.
But you have to realize, in context, right, the Red Table Talk, right, is about, it's in a room filled with black people. When I'm in a room filled with black people, guess what we're talking about? Black people things. Just the fact of life. She's brought to that table. She was brought to that table very specifically to talk about race in different aspects. That's just part of the reason she was brought to the table. Hold on, let me read one of these comments really quickly.
Read it.
Not everybody is drawn to like-minded people. You have people like myself who are able to talk with people with all different realms, and honestly, there are people I know who are opposite and different from me. But what draws me to them/me is us being uniquely different.
Okay.
Yes, I think it is wrong because how I look at it is we all come from one race, and that's the human race.
Okay.
Take the color of our skin off the table.
I'm all there for that.
I mean, but are you though? Because and once again, the thing that I love about Ellen Pompeo is that she's not coming for you for feeling how you say.
I love that.
Yeah, it's true. But look at that smile on your face, right?
But because me and Chrissy have like a history. I love her.
She's probably best fucking friends with Shonda Rhimes. You don't think she has a fucking black female friend who she looks at like, yes, queen, yes, you got that. You just signed that.
Okay. Let me ask you something then. Okay. So what do you think about Jada's behavior as it pertained to Ellen Pompeo when she was like, and you gonna be my homegirl now, Ellen. And I really wish I could remember the other thing that she did where I just felt like I didn't like it. I just was like, well, what are we doing now here? Like, you can bring her in and you could be like that with her without being like, oh, now she down. Like,
but I mean, maybe that's what she wants to do. Like when
also that bitch can do whatever she wants, but I can't say and feel all the fuck I want.
You can do what you want. Ellen Pompeo already gave you the go ahead. She said you was good, little black girl.
She gave me Ellen Pompeo gave me the pass to be mad if I want to be mad. Actually, I don't know.
All right, listen. I think this goes back to our conversation about the necessity of allies, right?
Oh.
And how we're able to advance
You bring up the
argument.
allies?
Yes, because this is a part of the conversation. And let's not negate the white women, single white women, who have raised little black boys to be strong black men who love their blackness. Barack Obama. I don't even really need to name anybody else. Y'all come on. Like, there's a problem where you try to take away somebody's ability to answer.
First of all, don't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
You better yes, don't try and put words in my mouth. I've never taken away anything from any white person who wants to do anything for whatever black causes that suits their hearts.
Okay. But
I don't do that.
But
I
you just feel like Ellen Pompeo is what? Just tell me how you feel about Ellen Pompeo.
I'm fine with Ellen Pompeo.
So, how do you, other than being fine with Ellen Pompeo, how do you feel about her Red Table Talk? How do you feel about the things that she said? Other than the things that, like, where she talks about black boys in her backyard. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the root of it, and I feel like you're bypassing that. I think that you're totally just like Obama. You're totally just like, oh, it's whatever she was like again. That didn't set up anything for us to pertains to how she went forward and like lived her life and what that's really rooted in, and she's like, it's just whatever.
So
like she just grew up on this side of Boston. Like
so we're just gonna assume that this woman that
she's our white ally.
that has three black kids, 2 of them that are brown, that she probably goes out in public and everybody doesn't know that her kids are black, and people ask her if her kids are adopted. She has no idea or no, this is just me talking, this is not a comment, by the way. Like, you know, she has no idea or understanding of some of the differences. She already, the second you push that baby out, you know that baby is different than you. That baby looks different than you. Like, you know what I mean? That baby's already taking on so many struggles of life just by having that skin tone. Mm-hmm. What Ellen Pompeo is simply trying to do is just trying to level down in that conversation and be like, hey, you know what I mean? Here I am.
But what I do respect about her is, you know, similar to the Emma Watson, is that who it is? Mm-hmm. Is the understanding inherently what's going on with her first, mm-hmm. before outwardly saying or doing anything. Mm-hmm. I respect that. I respect the shit out of that, because everything for me, like, it starts with self. Like, mm-hmm. self first, and then you outwardly project, you outwardly help. Like, I can say nice things about Ellen Pompeo. I just fucking did. You fucking happy now?
I think allies need to be allies, not spokespeople. I have a problem with allies speaking for women of color. Come behind / beside us, not in front of us. But I feel like that's what Ellen Pompeo is doing. I feel like she was brought to the...
First of all, Tamika, you are my new BFF, for real, dead ass. That's just it. That's just it. I think that the fight is for us to be in the forefront. Whoever wants to be on the side or behind, they can do that.
But she got brought to the table. That's the thing. She's not. So Ellen Pompeo isn't coming to be.
Who brought her to the table?
The red table talk?
Oh, the table.
Jada Pinkett Smith brought her to the table.
I thought you meant like the overall.
No.
Like what called upon her.
No, but I'm saying Jada Pinkett Smith brought her to the table to have this conversation about race, mm-hmm. to talk about it from her perspective as a white woman.
Well, mainly about I'm gonna be 100. How many times have you been in the forefront and still haven't been?
Oh, you gotta read that one out loud.
Okay.
Read that one out loud.
Don't be fucking patting me like that. The fuck? Okay, Tamika, I agree. However, I'm gonna be 100 with you. How many times have you been in the forefront? How many times have we been in the forefront and still haven't been heard? People are quick to hear a white person before us, which is sad, but it's the world we live in. Well, how about we just keep on fucking speaking until we are heard? That's just where I'm at with that.
But I'm also a believer that you get more what flies with honey than vinegar.
So you told these white people to fucking...
Ellen Pompeo...
I'm off the show! I'm off the fucking show! I'm off the fucking show! You bitch! I can't even believe you just said that! What is wrong with you?
Fine.
That was too much!
The agave, okay? Will be the honey, they'll be the agave.
Yo, you just tried it.
Whatever, you know what I mean.
You pissed me off right now. You just disrespecting the couch.
All I'm gonna say is, you sell more craft than you do baked macaroni and cheese, okay?
Okay.
And I'm not saying to stop speaking. I'm never not saying that. Exactly. I'm telling you to keep speaking, keep doing your thing, say your thing. But when you have somebody who's able to expand your message, make your message more palatable for people who usually won't listen to it. Why would you take it?
So let's bring it around to like solutionary talk, right? So.
What I'm saying is that if she's able to make white people open up their ears and listen, we can come and take that shit by force. Somebody gotta open the door for you to walk through. Like you understand? I don't want to. How many more crappy metaphors?
I hear you because we've been talking extensively about this in the last couple of days as it pertains to benefiting from a white ally, mm-hmm. or white help or whatever have you. And
well, if you actually watched that video I sent to you, which I don't know if you did.
The net water.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Did you watch what she said? Did you hear what she said?
About what part?
She said, the only way to fix a problem is if those who are the problem stand up and fix it. And she's talking about white people.
Yes.
The only way to fix for really get white people to hear and listen to understand racism is for another white person to stand up and say, hey, look, what you're doing is wrong.
Somebody who's already a part of the system.
Let me just ask a question, right? So
you just don't
she's
want
not saying that. She's not saying only white people stand up and fight against racism, but she's saying that along with black people, they need to us white.
So is she a mascot for black people?
She's not
so
a mascot.
Is she a mascot for black
someone
people?
who's going to help other white people understand that racism is wrong.
Yeah, I feel like that's a.
Damn.
Is she a mascot?
I need to ask a question though. I feel like, do you all seriously, everyone here, envision an America and envision a world where white people aren't prejudiced against black people?
Oh, baby, it's science. They're about to be the minority, right? And the way science depicts it, we'll all kind of be brown.
So what?
Right?
So what does that vision look like?
It's the idea that all of those things, racism, homophobia, transphobia, all of these phobias and hate-filled things are pushed to the minority groups, and those people can be taught that, or you can live in that truth if you want, but realize that the greater society doesn't accept it, and they don't allow you to behave in that.
So then what are we going to now be hating once we stop hating black people?
You said, wait, what?
What are we going to now be hating and marginalizing? And
It's not about, first of all, this journey that we are all on, who are people of color, people who are minorities, whether you're a white woman because they're part of an oppressed group, whether you're Native Americans, these are all oppressed groups, right? You can listen.
I mean, I'm here for it.
You know what I mean? These are oppressed groups. We've got to talk about it, and we've got to just go on this journey and get a little better each and every day. I don't know if there is an end game, an end road where everybody is at a level of equality, but each day, each week, each month, we've got to get a little better. We've got to fight for more equality.
And what does that look like? I'm just trying to understand what are you fighting for? What is this all about?
What is who fighting for?
I need a white ally to help so we can stop being what? And
it's to help break systematic oppression, right?
Okay.
So it's to help tear down the prison industrial complex, right? It's to help make so that the police forces throughout the country aren't filled with members of white nationalist groups, so that black women and black men don't go to jail at higher rates, that cops don't get away with domestic. It's to break systems of oppression. That's what it is. And it's each about just making a step, each day getting a little bit better.
Okay, I'm with all of those fights, right? I'm for that 1,000,000%. And I don't know. I mean, do you see it anytime in your lifetime?
I don't know. I don't know, but I know that the solution to it isn't saying your words are invalid, or I'm not going to let you be a part of the conversation, or ostracize people, which is not what you're doing, but which people are doing. You understand what I'm saying? Because people are so wrapped up.
Nani's here for the party. Black people don't need a single white person to fix the problems of black folk. It's that mindset we have to let go of. It's one of the biggest flaws of the human race. There will always be a problem because we feel there needs to be. It's to further emphasis that just because there aren't segregated signs up everywhere doesn't mean that racism isn't heavily present.
Was that all one statement?
One after the other.
No. If it was one statement.
So I'm gonna read this other one as a contrast.
Okay.
To tear down these walls, and so that we can all be together, stop fighting each other, and just treat us like normal human beings. Now, to comment on Nani's point, right? Because I love the idea, and I believe very strongly in a strong black voice, strong, vocal black people, talking about how to actively and effectively make change, right? I agree with that wholeheartedly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't believe in is taking away the power that somebody else happens to have to advance the agenda that I have. If you're a politician, you're going to take anybody really who can advance your agenda. Look at Donald Trump.
But I think that it's like almost like a hope and pray though that all of these white allies, they help open up doors and speak for black people.
They're not
at times.
speaking. They're not speaking
No.
for black people. They're speaking for white people.
What a
They're
white
speaking
ally
for
is.
white people. Okay, they're speaking for white people and to white people.
Okay.
A white allies conversation is about for
Exactly.
and
For white
educate.
people,
They're speaking
to
for
white
educated white people who have an
So
idea.
white allies are only speaking to white people.
That's mostly who the conversation that they have is for. It's for other white people. You have to realize that Ellen Pompeo was invited into a space, and maybe she had, if she wants to celebrate a victory that happens to benefit, black people. I personally think she has a right to celebrate a victory like that.
Sure, if she wants to. I mean, I'm not against her celebrating anything.
But what?
No, but I'm
But
saying,
so,
sure.
So but that's my thing. I don't understand the issue. If it's okay.
But it's not that I necessarily have an issue. It's that I'm not going to be throwing Ellen Pompeo or any other person a parade.
It's not about throwing anybody. It's not about throwing Ellen Pompeo a parade. It's about a comparison. It's about an active comparison to somebody who is problematic, right? Who claims to be a feminist, right? Because when it comes to the conversation about feminism, right, you find that when it comes to intersectional feminism, a lot of black women do like to have white women in the conversation because it's a part of the conversation.
For comparison.
Not to be
but not to say that the struggle is the same.
Who's saying the struggle is the same? Where does Ellen Pompeo?
I'm just saying, yes, black women have to include white women and other people as well into the conversation, but not as to say that the struggle is similar. It's about only to make a comparison.
But Ellen Pompeo isn't saying that the struggle is similar. She's not calling any struggle similar.
No, I know, but you made a statement saying that black feminists like to include white women into the conversation.
Yes, but they also talk about trans women, the LGBTQ community and all of that stuff. It's about including everybody in the conversation, right? So everybody's a part of this conversation. Ellen Pompeo happens to be a part of this conversation. She's a part of it from her perspective, and that's one of the things that I think is appreciative. And the only reason we really are talking about her, and I happen to be a fan, even when she used the reverse racism, I was like, she's somebody needs to talk to her. Somebody talked to her. Somebody broke it down for her to be like, you might feel like that you're getting reverse racism, but understand that racism is more than just this idea of people not liking you because you're white. So I think she has shown growth. She's shown evolution. I think she's a great contrast to Lena Dunham.
You guys in her comments about African women would make it more than other actors. Yes, you love that from another quarter.
Hold on.
Is in regards to using our platform to fight for their agenda.
So let me read this. Yes, because no white person can ever speak for me. But what I'm saying is, if a white person can get through to another white person, just like at times we have to speak to our people in regards to opening their minds to an oppressed group, then why not? Why not be able for both sides to open each other's minds and not be ignorant to the shit happening around us? And that's exactly what
I think that, it's been a long history of black people seeking more acceptance and being more open-minded, and white people haven't. And I feel like, why are we still waiting around?
But here it is. But no, this is my thing. Here is a person who is doing all of the things that we want people to do. We want people to see.
I don't really want anyone to be doing that.
You don't want people to celebrate black culture and the beauty of black culture and black magic and all the beautiful contributions.
Us black people start doing it ourselves first.
But we do though. That's good. We do that though.
And then
a lot of Juneteenth. A lot of people have had Juneteenth parties for years.
Us doing that first forces other people to see it. Oh wait, they're loving themselves.
But people are already doing that.
They're seeing their worth, their understanding.
People are already doing that. People are already loving themselves.
Not enough.
Okay, but that's great. That's fine. That's great and that's fine. But what you can't do, what you cannot do is negate the work that somebody is doing. Stop negating the work because there aren't enough black people being black positive and black centric like you would like to be.
Did I negate what she's done?
You said we don't need a white ally. We need more black people to be doing this. That's what you said.
What I said is that.
You said what you said.
I'm not throwing Ellen Pompeo a parade. Let her keep doing the work and let her
I'm not asking you.
doing.
What I said is she's a comparison for Lena Dunham to somebody who's doing the work, to somebody who's advancing, to what it means to be a real feminist, to be a feminist who deals with intersectional feminism, which is a part of the conversation.
Yes, I'm here for that. And we're comparing her to Lena Dunham. I'm with that all day as a comparison, one versus the other. Like, I'm here for that conversation.
But you're not here for the idea that Ellen Pompeo could possibly reach out to an entire generation of white kids and open their mind to intersectional feminism and the idea of racism on a greater scale.
To be honest, like, to be so honest, like, I just think that white supremacy will forever be the rule. I don't know.
I think that's more problematic. I think that's more problematic than saying black people don't celebrate black culture enough. That believing that white supremacy will continuously be the ruler, that's more problematic than saying black people don't celebrate black culture enough.
That's my opinion.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I don't think it's more about seeking validation from white people, because I think in the end, people will be able to survive in this world way better than a white person could ever. Sad to say, because of our history and background. But what I'm saying is for them to know we not going no fucking where and get used to soaking up all this melanin, and that's all
I
it
think
is.
that's a beautiful statement. I really do. No one's going anywhere. Right?
But all I'm saying is that yes, black people should celebrate each other more. We should celebrate more black achievement. We should know more black inventors and black, paradigm shifters, all of these amazing people. And we should take personal responsibility and we have a platform to do it. But the reality is we cannot be mad or negate or discredit. And nobody's throwing Ellen Pompeo a parade. She was brought to the Red Table Talk to have a conversation, right? To explain her experience, right? And she's also contrast to other white women that we see fetishize black men and black culture in a way of saying, well, I'm down and I'm cool and I can say the N-word and I'm this.
She definitely is a more positive representation of those who believe in like love is love and I see no color. Like,
I don't think she never said I don't see any color. She made it very clear. She sees the color. That the color is there. She knows that her little babies are brown and black.
Her babies are brown and her husband is a biracial man. She does know that, but that community.
I don't like the way you say biracial.
Why?
Because I feel like in doing so, and yes, he is a biracial man, and I will not take that away. It's almost as if you're taking away his blackness by saying he's biracial. How can I take away his Because he's a black man. Because he walks through the door and people sees that he's black.
How can
You just did it.
Take away someone's blackness.
Real easy.
The nigga, he's black.
I know he is. So why are we calling him biracial like the nigga ain't black?
Because I'm just stating a fact.
Because you're saying it to take away the power of the fact that he is a black man, and that's not great.
I'm saying in fact, not saying that I was being very pessimistic, which I do have some pessimistic views that I can have some attitudes in that are very a little less optimistic. I mean, wow.
Let's try to close it up on something strong. We clearly got into it, y'all. We're clearly very passionate about it on the opposite ends. And
I mean, I do want to say though, just on a lighter note, more optimistic that I soaked up a lot of everything that was said here today, whether it was Brandon, whether it was you guys tuning in and commenting. I'm here for the conversation. For me and my story and my path and the way that I'm walking this, I'm just walking it a little bit differently. And I don't negate anything about her husband's blackness or any of the fights or work that she's doing as it pertains to helping people of color in the struggle. I just, like I said before,
one quick statement. I just want to throw this out there about Red Table Talk. I don't know if y'all saw it, right? I actually really love what's the girl? Willow's comment, right? Talking about her friends, right, and her being a black woman and growing into her black womanness and being strong-minded and feeling strong and firm in her beliefs, and how they are constantly telling her, don't be angry, are you angry? You some angry black woman, you this, and this, while she's somebody who's firm and steadfast and knows who she is. I just think that was a really interesting thing that we didn't get to talk about, but it's just very interesting because I think in black women, it's cultivated to know how to protect yourself, because there's so many people constantly coming from you, whether it's outside sources, whether it's teachers, parents, family members, police officers. You have all of these people constantly coming for you. You know what I mean? And you feel, you automatically take on that protective nature and you put it on other people. I just thought that was a really cool thing that she said.
I thought that was a beautiful moment in the show as well, you know, where her friends were looking at her in a type of way when she just is like, my mama done told me, my experience done taught me. Like,
but this is why everybody needs a black friend.
Oh my God, Zed. Brandon.
You mad.
She was into a fetish party. Now we're back to the fetish party. I'm over this. Yeah, so I wanted to make that clear. Do you think I made myself clear?
I think you made yourself clear. You know, you don't like white allies. You don't think they're necessary. You don't think they do anything.
Look, I have a whole white husband, and I have a whole biracial child. Who is black? So yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we can have this conversation all day long, all night and all day long. Honestly, we're just on two different sides. So does that take away from his whiteness?
From his whiteness? Whose whiteness?
The husband.
I mean, I don't think it does, because I think, especially in the realm of black people, right? I'll talk from my own personal experience. I find that a lot of people think I'm biracial, right? And there's automatically an assumption that that's just what you are. But even in assuming that I am
live is saying we cannot be live anymore.
But in being perceived as biracial, right? People automatically think I'm black though. You understand what I'm saying? Like, yes, if you believe I'm biracial, you think there's a white aspect to me, but my blackness already supersedes it. So I don't think it takes away from his whiteness. I think just culturally, whether you're no matter what really race you are, it take like people just perceive your blackness as a thing when they see you. Because they see it. So I don't think it takes away from his whiteness, but I think to call him biracial in this conversation, it very specifically negates the fact that he is a black man. That's how I feel.
Wow. Heavy shit. And a little bit intersectional.
A little aggressive is what it was.
Intersectionality all up in this bitch. A lot of things are super connected and just weave in and out of each other. But it's safe to say that anyone doing good for any fight is supported by me. Wow, that was a good conversation.
That was good. Thank you guys for joining.
My Queen Mummy Live has 31 seconds remaining, so see us live here on Thursday at 10 p.m. where we're gonna be.
No, don't even tell them. Don't even tell them what we're talking about.
Oh, we're dropping a video.
We're dropping video.
Yes. In order to really participate the best is to watch whatever video was dropped the night before that is directly
follow, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram, Bitch Got a Couch, Frodo Reed 2030, Snapchat, Frodo Reed 2030, Bitch Got a Couch, Instagram, Queen Mummy, follow. Sorry, y'all, we had like 3 seconds, so we had to wrap it up real quick. That live was done.
But yeah, so watch the videos before the live. That would definitely help you be mostly prepared for whatever it is we're talking about in the live. Like Brandon said, yes. Like Brandon said, we're going to be live on Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Photo Read 2030, and Bitch Got a Couch. So, watch us there.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
And thank you so much for the participation. Yes. Always. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Over there, let's get some live music.
The lights get